The Kiwi Effect. This is episode 2, and we have here
Nick Bruno. All right.
So tell us about yourself.
So, right, I'm Nick Bruno, friends with Joe. Actually, friends with his sister first. And then I go to school, so I'm a finance major. I go into Rutgers, and then I do real estate on the side and a couple other little business ventures.
Yeah. He's got a whole lot going on himself. So how did we meet?
So, that's a good question. So I guess me and my girlfriend, we became friends with his sister, and then I guess as our like friendship grew, I guess so we started hanging out with Krista more, and then I guess we came to your house and we met you, and my sister started being friends with you and your friend group as well. So we had you guys over.
Yeah.
We had you guys over a few times, and then I guess it just went from there. And we stopped talking for a little bit because you're younger than me, so we don't really see each other that much.
How much older than you? Are you 4 years, right?
3 years, yeah. So I'm technically a junior in college. And then, because you're in Vicky's grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 years older in junior college.
So what's your main thing you're doing right now?
So, all right. So that's a very good question. Okay. So main thing. So I own a rental property in Morristown, New Jersey. 2-family. So I go to school. I was like, my main thing is I go to school right now. So I'm like I said, finance major. Hopefully to get into wealth management, manage people's money, help them achieve all their financial goals, all that fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the side, it's like I have so much free time. So I'm only taking 3 classes. Yeah, I'm close enough, right, Mike?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. So I do that, and then my free time when I'm not like at the property, it's not really that involved. I mean, I renovated it. That was the most involved it really was. That's really it was like a 3-month time frame, where not even a 3-week time frame. It was that. So I guess school, and then just trading crypto, and also stocks and stuff like that. I mean, that's really what takes up the bulk of my time too. Oops.
You watch a lot of stuff like about stocks to get into that, or?
I used to, yeah. So when I think it was like 8th grade is when I started like really diving down into the whole like personal finance side of things. Like I was like, some of my dad's friends, they were pretty wealthy people. I asked them, well, what do you do? It's like how do I get the Porsche? How do I get the Lamborghini?
Yeah.
And the first thing they said was investing. Like, okay, well, obviously that's what I should be looking up if I want to get that, because that's what they do. So I found like different types of investing. The first thing was obviously stocks came up. I was like, well, what the hell is a stock? And I looked up, went down that rabbit hole, and then I got, okay, so the first thing I saw was like dividends. Like you buy Coca-Cola, you get like 6% dividend or whatever. If it's $100, you get like $6 or whatever. Yeah, $6. And then you keep reinvesting the profit, the dividend profit. I was like, okay, well, that's kind of boring. It takes a long time. I don't want to wait that long. So then around like sophomore year of high school, I really started to figure out, like, day trading, which is just buying and selling within the same day. Buying a share of a stock and then selling it the same day. Doing that multiple times. But the problem when people do that, they never make money usually, because they're just either too greedy or they're just too stupid, and they just don't really look things up and just do their research before. They don't have a plan. They say, okay, I'm going to buy a share of Tesla at $100. I'm going to sell it at $102. But they don't really do any analysis on when it's a good time to buy, when it's a good time to sell, and how long. And there's laws on it too. So if you want to day trade, you have to have $25,000 of equity in your account, meaning your account balance has to be $25,000 or more every day you trade, or it's called the wash sale rule. You can only do that. You can only buy and sell 3 times within 5 days. So if you want to get around it, you got to have some dough. I don't have that dough anymore because I made some mistakes, but that takes me to crypto. So crypto, it's been in the headlines pretty recently, but you can kind of circumvent that. You can if you want to trade with $5, you can trade with $5. No one gives a shit what you have to trade with. As long as you can make the money, that's all that matters. But there's fees. Fees get you. So that's what I do. I'm a jack of all trades.
So what are you doing, like Ethereum or?
So right now, I've been buying Bitcoin for a while. Probably not a while, like 3 months. I've been like buying if I make some money, $100 here, $200 here, I'll slowly acquire some. And the price dips are when I just think it's a good time to buy. And then Ethereum, I bought some Ethereum yesterday actually, because they're rolling out Ethereum 2.0, so it just makes the whole ecosystem of the Ethereum blockchain a little bit easier to navigate if you want to make your own crypto project, or it makes the transaction time faster, which was like a big problem with crypto. With Ethereum and Bitcoin was that the transaction cost and time was like a lot longer than a lot of the other stuff that was cheaper. But the cheaper stuff didn't really hold its value that well. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing.
You ever mess around with NFTs?
I did actually. I did. So one of my good friends, not gonna name names, but he put a decent. It wasn't nothing crazy, but he put a good chunk of money into a frog JPEG. Didn't work out too well. I put like maybe $40 into the whole NFT run and bust when it was happening. So I just didn't understand it. I was like,
It's complicated.
I would never buy a JPEG. I wouldn't spend 10 grand on a JPEG.
Yeah.
Someone would. But it just wasn't my cup of tea. I just didn't see it going anywhere. But I'm not really too familiar on the NFTs.
Yeah. I don't even know what's going on there either. It's something I could see you like
Touching
a little bit.
It's funny. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I can make like an alien and sell it for like 10. Let's list it up for 10 grand. Hopefully someone would buy it. But
yeah, something weird's going on there with that. I don't even.
yeah, originally I did a thing for Fiverr. I put like I paid some schmuck like $20 to make me like an alien JPEG. I was gonna put it. I just never got around to it. I was gonna put it up on like I think it was OpenSea was the big one, and just see if anyone would want to give me their money, give me their Ethereum for a JPEG.
Did you even list it or no?
No, I did. I never ended up doing it. It's still on to this day on my desktop as a JPEG. But
You gonna do it?
maybe we'll see. I mean, if NFTs, the problem was like when I did that, the whole like hype around NFTs kind of like subsided a little bit. So it was like, what's like the point of me even wasting my time if there's not a lot of demand there for it? But maybe one day we'll see. Maybe I'll be an NFT mogul one day.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
So Nick is actually also running an Etsy store right now.
I am. It's not doing too hot, but it's okay. It's all right. I started off I forget what it was called, but it was selling Joe. It was an AI like ChatGPT, but it was for art. So if you tell like, hey, listen, draw me a picture of a mountain with a giraffe on top, it would search the internet and just pull a bunch of pictures of giraffes and mountains together and draw a giraffe on top of a mountain. And I was like, okay, well, this is a pretty cool idea. What if I could? How can, of course, my brain? How can I make money on this? That's all I really care about. So I was watching some YouTube videos, and people were like, okay, we'll put it on a canvas, put it on a sweatshirt. Well, my taste in art is not that sought after, I guess. So no one really bought it. I was like, okay, we'll have to reevaluate it now. What's a hot topic? And I always see like whenever I'm like walking around college, like school, I see girls wearing these like my stupid hoodies. They're like $50 with like have a great day, like plaster on the back of it. So obviously someone's buying them. There's demand for it. So okay, so I went on Etsy. I was like looking around. People are like they're like $40, and people are selling like $50,000 a month. I was like, this is fantastic. So I'm not selling $50,000 a month, not even close. I haven't sold one yet, but I tried it out. But it's not doing too hot. I got to critique a couple things.
Etsy's a weird marketplace. It's definitely got a lot of potential, but there's a lot of stuff going on there that you got to take into consideration.
It's hard because like I thought paying for ads like would be the same thing because like I tried drop shipping in high school. I sold fishing lures. I sold 3 of them.
I remember
but
that.
I made a profit. It wasn't anything crazy, but can't go buy a Lamborghini, but it was something. So I mean, it wasn't a stupid idea because like I learned from it, but it wasn't really a market that was like super populated. So so with the Etsy thing, I thought just paying for ads would be better, but it's not because I guess they don't really branch out past just like the Etsy storefront. Because I mean, Facebook, you can advertise on Facebook directly and like Instagram. So I mean, everyone uses Instagram. I don't know who doesn't use Instagram besides someone who's living under a rock, but
yeah, or like old adults.
Yeah, like the person from SpongeBob in the wheelchair, little wrinkly old bag.
So with the rental property, how much work is that?
So, it's a very good question. So first, the initial, I think the biggest problem with my biggest issue was just finding a place because like the real estate market now it's a whole shit show because the interest rates are through the roof. The return on your investment is not there at all. So like if you have like if you have like a 6% cap rate, which is your estimated income after your expenses, so it's net. Your gross is like before taxes and before your expenses. So net is really all you should care about because that's what you see in your pocket. That's what Uncle Sam gets his fair share of if you want to pay taxes. That's a whole other topic. But if So the first problem is finding the property first. Like find one that's not a complete rundown shithole, and also finding one that's in a good location too. Because everything that's in a good location is like 2 times the price it should be. Like I want to buy another one. I want it's called a cash out refinance. So when you buy a property, it's called equity in the home, and you can borrow against that. So if you go to Mr. Bank, you see Mr. Bank, I have, just as an example, $100,000 of equity in a property. You can borrow up to 78% of it, which is not my recommendation. Don't over leverage yourself because if something happens, you're going to be underwater. So usually, in my opinion, I'm not a mogul yet, but I would say take up maybe 40%. So $40,000, you can go and buy another property on that. So 20%, 40% is 20% of $200,000. So now you have $300,000 worth of real estate off of a $100,000 property, which is essentially how it works. I mean, there's a lot of other people who believe like buying it in cash is good, which is cool, but if it burns down tomorrow, your cash is down the toilet. Or you can leverage your money, which is a traditional mortgage or a commercial loan. So what I did was I found the property in Morristown. I saw it once. I was like, listen, it's nice. It's not in perfect shape. You want something that's not in perfect shape, but you also don't want something that's going to fall apart when you step through. You don't want to fall through the floor when you walk in. So I was like, okay, so this is cool. I'm gonna keep this on the back burner. I'm just like all the numbers. I'm like, this is good. Like I could do some value, it's called adding value to increase the rents. And I was like, okay, I'll keep it on the back burner. I'll see what else is out there. So another property I was looking at, it was in Newton. It was a shithole. It was cool. You know what it looked like? It looked nice on the outside, but you should judge a book by its cover usually. In this example, I walked around. There was a meth head living there, which is whatever. I don't really care. As long as they pay me their rent, I don't care. So there's a meth head there. The roof was completely shot. It was like a $20,000 roof. I didn't know this. To me, the roof looked fine, but the home inspector came, put his drone up. It was bad. It was expensive too, and I would have had very little capital left over to actually do something. God forbid the boiler blows up. That's a whole other thing too. It was 5 units, and it was one oil boiler supplying heat to 5 different units with 5 separate thermostats. So that was just a recipe for disaster. So long story short, I said I don't want it. Whatever. I moved on back to this one. I bought this one, and I knew that I was going to have to do some stuff because that's just how it is. I mean, I had to do some renovations. Nothing crazy. The floors, put new cabinets in. It was expensive, but it was worth it. Redid the bathroom. Didn't do any plumbing. If Morristown you're watching, I did no plumbing. Just put in a new tub. Just put in new tile. Made it look nice. It's in good shape. I mean, it's nice. There's 3 guys living up there now. I'm getting like $3,000 a month for it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Super nice people live there. One of them's a cop too, which is even better. Like that way, if something happens, there's like at least there's a guy there that like knows the law and can help out people there. But downstairs, I have to still waiting for someone to find for there. It's been rented for like almost 3 months now, and I don't know what the scoop is with it, but it's cool. It's cool, but I had to. A little fun story. So my girlfriend's parents went there. So I gave him a key because like her dad owns property. So I was like, you know what? Like if he just wants to go look at it, and God forbid something's wrong, and he's there, he can get in. Yeah. So he goes there, and so for people who don't know how sewer systems work, I didn't know that well until now. So there's usually in the basement of all their houses, there's a little hole in the ground. It's called the service port. So you can put a snake down there to clog up if there's any turds down there. You can unclog it. So they call me, hey, listen, Nick, like, is there like a leaky pipe? Because like the basement was like had like an inch of water down.
Oh shit.
So I'm like, no, I don't think so. And thinking back now, like the cap, it's a cap that goes over it. That way, in case there's a backup, doesn't go into the basement, which it should, but whatever. So there was a root ball in the pipe.
What's a root ball?
So there's a big old tree in the front. And the roots, when they go down, the older pipes made out of clay. So when they join them together, there's like a little seam. So the roots will like work their way in there for water, even though it's disgusting water. They'll try to get some water to grow more. Yeah. And when they get in the pipe, the roots will just ball up in there. They'll go down the entire pipe. You have like a 10-foot pipe, and the tree's there for long enough. The 10 feet of pipe will be completely balled up with roots. So it was a clog, and it backed up through the. Long story short, it backed up through the pipe to the basement, and there were turds floating, Lincoln Logs floating all over the floor. So I had to. It was like $4,500. It sucked, but they had to come dig up the front. They had to dig up the front lawn and then put the new pipe in, which is fine because at least it wasn't like down to the sewer line. Because I'm responsible. If they have to rip up the road, I have to pay to get that fixed. It's my pipe on my property. That's stupid. But yeah, landlording's been fun. Right now, knock on wood, I haven't, nothing crazy. It's like the only crazy thing that's happened.
So what happened to the turds? Like, were you
I
like
called,
down there? Or like,
I called Turd Patrol.
oh,
They
okay.
they came. I paid someone to come. I call them the Turd Scooper. Really nice
Mm,
guys. They come. They usually do like restoration. Like if you have like a pipe that bursts in your ceiling and your whole house is soaked up and it's all completely effed up from flood damage, they'll come in, they'll fix it. But they came up there, shoved all the poop up, disinfected it because I was like, this is gonna smell like shit. Like,
yeah,
it's actually gonna smell like poop
literally.
for a while. But they came in
Mm,
there. They put the great guys. I think it was like, I'll give them a little shout out. I think it was like Everlast, like Everclean or whatever. Great company, but
yeah,
super nice guys.
that'll definitely come in handy
Yeah,
someday.
yeah. You have a real shitty situation.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's I mean, landlord's been fun. I mean, it's cool. It's like I'm not gonna lie, it boosts your ego a little bit. I don't really
Hmm.
give a shit about that, but like it's cool. It's to drive by and like, listen, like I own that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
maybe I'm an asshole, but
No, I
it's
mean, definitely you gotta take credit for what you do.
yeah, it's I mean, it's hard, but at the same time, it's like people say passive income. You don't have to do anything. If
Hmm.
you have a property management company, all you gotta do is just cut them a check. But in my opinion, like I'm not a real estate mogul yet. But in my opinion, like when you first start off, you should kind of do most of the stuff yourself. If it's
Definitely,
nothing
yeah.
crazy like digging up a third pipe in your front lawn.
Hmm.
But it's part of the game. I mean, if you want to
Hmm.
make money, you got to spend some time doing it. Like Rome wasn't built overnight,
Yeah.
so it is what it is.
So what's been pushing you to do all these business endeavors?
So this is a good question. So my dad passed away last summer. So that was the big reason. Because I was like, well, my sister looks at me like my dad. I should look at my dad like for advice and stuff. My mom is not good with money at all. I'm not even gonna blow smoke. She's not awful with money, so I have to help her out. So I was like, well, what can I do? What are the options here? It's like the option one is I sit in a corner and cry like a little weenie, or I just grow a set and just go do something. So that's what I did. The first venture I did was it was trading crypto, which I've been pretty good at. Of course, I have my days where I don't make that any money at all. I owe the bank money
Hmm.
because I'm on margin sometimes, but majority of the time I make my money when I trade. That was the first thing. But I was like, okay, well, I have to go to school too because if I want to do wealth management one day, I can help people manage their money, achieve their financial goals, all that
Hmm.
jazz. So I have to go to school for that. So that takes up a majority of my like 85% of my time studying and doing homework.
Make sure you're talking to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Let me move this up a little bit actually. So I
Hmm.
have to do a majority of my time. I have to sit there and there we go, do my homework and that stuff and study for tests.
Hmm.
So I have to have some passive way to make money.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to do real estate, like own properties and stuff like that, ever since I was younger, because like all my dad's friends did, and they were pretty well off.
Hmm.
So that's what I did. So that was one option. The next option was snow plowing. So I have that. I do that too. Snow plowing in the winter, then landscaping in the summer. I just started this year, so nothing crazy yet. But there's something to do in the winter. Um, it's like that way. He passed like was it June? He passed away. So in the winter, it was like kind of like approaching winter time. It's like, well, this is a great opportunity to do it. So I bought an old Jeep with a plow on it, and I started plowing. I have a couple contracts with like Caldwell Banker, all
Was
that
that
fun stuff.
pre-COVID or that's after COVID?
After Kung Flu, yeah,
Mm.
after COVID, yeah, that was after.
So was
After
the
that,
Jeep a lot or?
it was. I mean, it was a good buck. It was $7,000. I mean, I was $7,000, but I thought it was a piece of shit. I thought it was a
Yeah.
shit box, but it was. I mean, I was wrong because it runs good. The mechanic said it's got great oil compression.
Hmm.
It's got everything's all good on it. It's got some. It's good, but I got to get the. There's a seal that goes on the oil pan. You bolt the oil pan in. That seal is completely crap now. So I gotta get a new seal, but that's not that bad.
Hmm.
But I mean, it didn't snow that much this winter in New Jersey, but it's all right.
Hmm.
I mean, I made majority of my money back.
Hmm.
So
Talking about cars just reminded me that I used to work at
Hyundai,
Hyundai. Yeah.
good old Hyundai. I miss that place, man. I mean, I do miss Hyundai a little bit.
Did you
But
make money there?
I did. Let me move a little closer. So I did pretty well for myself there. There we go. I did
Hmm.
pretty well for myself there. So I was able to. I did well. As out of high school, I didn't want to really go to college originally because that's when everything was online.
Hmm.
And I say this now, I have to take online classes, but back then my brain was completely somewhere else. It wasn't in the gutter, but I just didn't want to go to school. I was being stubborn. So I ended up worked at Hyundai, sold cars for about, I think it was almost a year, and I left because I wanted to start trading full time. I did that, and it worked. I did very well. I did better than I thought I was going to do. trading. I traded something called TQ. Let me move this up a little bit. It's a little too.
What's that?
So TQ is it's called a leveraged index fund. So what they do is they use options. They leverage options to give you leverage. So for example, for every 1%, the NASDAQ is called TQQQ. It's a 3-time leveraged vehicle for the NASDAQ 100 index, which is mostly tech. So what this does is for every 1% the NASDAQ index goes up, this ETF stock essentially will go up 3%. So if the NASDAQ in one day goes up 3%, you make 9% if you have this ETF. But on the same side, if it goes down 3%, you'll lose 9%.
Mm-hmm.
But it's called the bull and the bear. So bull you want bull. Bull means you're good. Everything's going up. Bear is when you're losing. Everything goes down.
Mm-hmm.
So the bear is it's called shorting. So you're betting that it's going to go down. So you can go both ways. So SQQQ is the inverse.
Mm-hmm.
This is not financial advice. I don't want to get sued. Not financial advice. But what I would do is during like 2020, of course, it took a big dip for like this shortest recession on record. But from 2020 until like I think it was like 2021, for like I call it a year and a half. A year and a half, the market was going good after I quit Hyundai, and I was just trading TQ and SQ every day. So every time TQ would be up, I would sell it once it got oversold, and I would buy into SQ to ride down when it corrected. That's all I did. I mean, it was also
You're just riding the waves.
I was riding the waves exactly. So, but I was doing it in a bull market, which means the market was good.
Mm-hmm.
I can still do it now, but like there's not that many opportunities anymore because everything's so choppy. You can still you can still trade, but you gotta be a lot more intelligent when you trade. Like you can't there's less likely you're gonna get lucky now because back then like if you just wait a day, you're supposed to hold your holdings overnight when you day trade, but you could get lucky if you wait a couple of days because of the state the economy was in. Now you can't do that. You can, but you're gonna lose your shirt.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about our current economy?
I think it's awful. I mean, I'm not an economist. I'm in college, but I don't know everything. I know a couple things, but I think we're in a recession already.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. I can tell you just by looking at the gas pump. I mean, the big thing too is not a lot of countries is also a good thing about Bitcoin. So a lot of countries don't like us right now, and this is not financial advice either. The reason I'm saying you should buy Bitcoin or gold, silver, whatever you want to buy, that's not the US dollar, is because the US dollar it's called the petrodollar. So if you want to buy oil from a country or a commodity like wheat, oil, whatever you want, you have to settle the transaction in US dollars. So if you want to buy oil, you have to go in China, you want to go from, I think it's the digital yuan, that's what they use. You have to go from the yuan to USD, buy your oil, and then go from USD back to the yuan. That's how it worked for 100 years. Now it's not. So now no one's using. It's called the BRICS. So it's Britain, Russia, China, India, I think South Africa, and a couple other countries in South America and Africa.
I think you hit all the big ones.
Yeah, the big boys. They're not using the U.S. dollar anymore because we printed so much money in the past 3 years because it's called inflation. Our dollar is not worth anything. So the problem is once these countries, because they had to hold billions of dollars of U.S. dollars in their reserves to be able to buy oil and just settle their transactions in U.S. dollars, what's going to happen is once those dollars in their reserves are sent away, like you can't just throw them away. They're going to be put into the marketplace. That's going to further decrease our value of the U.S. dollar. So when I say you might want to buy Bitcoin, it's a way to hedge that too. So you can't make more Bitcoin. You can mine it. You can't just pop another 1 or 0 in the algorithm and say, okay, we're going to poop out more Bitcoin now. It's not how it works. It's a set amount that's going to be in circulation one day, but not unlike the U.S. dollar. So to hedge essentially what I'm saying is if you don't want your dollar to lose value, you should look at moving it into different currency types.
A lot of people don't even understand how our currency works.
Yeah, and that's a problem because when the day comes where the U.S. dollar is equivalent to toilet paper, you're just better to wipe your ass with it than use it to buy anything. It's me bad. A lot of people are going to lose a lot of money. A lot of money. And then the stock market, you want to look at the stock market. The stock market has stayed like this straight for the past 3 years. So it's not. I'm not trying to be Mr. Doom and Gloom here, but if you want to do something, you should probably just think about buying either a different currency or Bitcoin, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. The new BRICS system, is backed by like gold, silver, and platinum.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's gold, silver, platinum, and commodities too. So for example, if you're Saudi Arabia and you have a bunch of oil, you can kind of estimate like your total. If I could be wrong, this could be disinformation, but I think I'm right. So you can value kind of how much oil you have. You can produce either in like a 5-year frame or 1-year frame, whatever time frame you want to do. You can make a valuation of your commodity relative to your, I don't know what currency they use, but relative to your currency.
Mm.
So if the United States has $100 billion, for example, worth of oil, which we do, in the ground, your dollar is backed up to $100 billion because that's how much worth of commodity you have. So you can do that too. Or you can, like Turkey is a big country that's been doing it, Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
I think China's been a big one too. India, buying up a lot of gold to put in their reserves. That way their currency is backed by something. Because no one likes the West right now. I don't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're looking around and they see, okay, their dollar is diminishing in value. If they don't like you or you just don't agree with them, I'm not even talking about the whole geopolitical climate right now. I'm saying if they just don't like you, they'll sanction you and they'll cripple your economy at the drop of a hat. And what, you're going to go against the U.S.? Like, come on. Countries see that. Like, we don't like that, so we're going to make our own thing. And that's exactly what's happening. Mm-hmm. So do with that as you will.
Yeah, I think one thing the other countries see is I don't know if it's the right word, the downgrade of our youth.
Yeah,
because I feel like
I agree.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to say this, but like there's zero competition. Like when our parents were younger, like probably call it 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted to work. People, if you didn't want to go to school, you'd be a tradesman. You would whatever you wanted to. But my point is, you would work. Now everyone wants to bitch and moan about how they don't have something that they want. They want to get it from somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not paying for your Lamborghini. I'm gonna buy myself a Lamborghini, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Not anybody else. Mm-hmm. No one wants to work for it. I mean, which is whatever. But I think that's just like it's kind of how the West is. But if you go to like Europe or somewhere else, like a European country or just anywhere else in the world, really, besides China, but because they're communist, but you can kind of see that people are working hard. Like when people come to this country, they're busting their ass. They're working really hard because they come from a place where they know what it's like not to have a lot of the opportunities that are here.
If you look at a lot of the foreigners, like they're going 110% here.
Yeah, every 7 days a week, 365.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what they do, which is because they know what it's like not to have a lot.
Yeah.
I think the problem is like a lot of people. I'm not saying I grew up in not a pot to piss in. That's not what I'm saying. But like I can imagine like what it's like not to have a lot. I've never experienced that, luckily, but I can kind of get that. Mm. So people that don't really have that foresight, have never been through it, can't really do that. They can't they don't know what it's like not to have anything. So therefore, why should they try?
Yeah.
Whether but on the flip end, you have someone in like Ukraine coming here that got their house blown up by Russia.
Yeah.
They have nothing there anymore, so it's only uphill from there for those people.
Yeah. So many people, like, at least within my age group, are just so immersed in social media.
Oh, I agree.
And like the realm.
Yeah.
Like what they're thinking about on a daily basis is so different from what it should be. And about what's really going on, that it's actually insane.
It's it's a disconnect. I call it clown world. Oh, this mic's falling. It's clown world. They live in clown world. Mm-hmm. They don't live in reality. They live in some BS disconnected dystopian spot where they think they don't have to work. They think they don't have to try. They can sit there and complain all day that nothing's gonna happen. But that's not the reality. I mean, if you want something in life. Let's just say let's play in the clown world for a second. Let's just say, for example, that one day I gotta fix this thing. Let's say, for example, that one day you wake up and you get everything you want, right? You have your Bugatti, whatever, your car, the girls, whatever you want, you have it. Well, that's gonna get pretty boring pretty quick because you didn't work for it. So you're gonna sit there and wake up one day and be like, you know what, this is whatever, it's fine, I don't really care about it anymore. But on the flip end, when you work for it, it feels great. You know, you make millions of dollars a year, even not even millions, let's not even stretch it. Some people can't comprehend that, but let's just say you work really hard. You own your house. You have a beautiful wife. You love your kids. A lot of people want that, and once you have it, you're like, "Hey, this is fantastic. I can pay for my kids to go to college. If someone gets sick, I can pay for it. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about my bills. I have enough money on
Yeah.
the side. I have a couple other sources of income. I'm okay." That's a lot of people think that's impossible, but it's not. It may make it impossible when you just don't surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
If you surround yourself with people who have the same thing and are doing the same things that you want to do one day, or at the position that you want to be one day, you'll be there. That's why that's why my brain kind of automatically goes of how I can make money, because I can take care of people when I make money. I mean, that's just how it is. That's the truth of the world.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, what you're saying with like money and like helping people is crazy. Like so many people don't like think about that.
Yeah, it's a problem. I mean, you can sit here and say money is the root of all evil, but I would disagree with you, because all the good things in the world have come from people who made a lot of money. Like
Yeah.
John Rockefeller, I don't care what you think about him. You would be putting around on your feet if you didn't make, well, if he didn't, oil wasn't a thing. If he wasn't the oil king of the world, he made refining oil great. Very, very, of course, he has some unethical things. People do unethical things. I'm not denying that. But he made it to a point where you can get oil for your car, your house, whatever you wanted. And if it wasn't for him, he would have eventually done it, but it would have taken a lot longer. But you would have been walking everywhere. You wouldn't be, you'd be still being horse and buggy. You wouldn't be having cars.
Maybe that life would be better.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't mind a horse.
Yeah.
I like horses.
No,
But
horse would be
I think
sick.
horses are pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Have a nice white stallion flying down the street.
Yeah. I mean, if we were still riding around horses, we probably wouldn't have phones then, right?
I mean, probably not, because like
Maybe like landline.
landline,
Yeah.
like a cup on a string.
Yeah. Like imagine getting a landline phone call, like your girl's home alone, you ride your horse over.
That'd be pretty funny.
That
That would
pretty
be
sick.
funny.
That would be. I'd feel such like a baller, just pulling up on the horse.
On a horse and buggy. That'd be funny. Horse and buggy, or like a unicycle. I would ride a unicycle around. Dude, if bikes were the only thing, like say horses were never existed and we got to the point now where we could only ride on bicycles, I would only ride a unicycle.
Why?
I just think it'd be funny. I just think it'd be funny.
Yeah, it'd be pretty funny.
I'd probably get bored of it after a while, but like, dude, my
That'd be pretty
calves,
hard, too.
dude, my calves would be so strong. I have negative calves.
But what about like turning and like braking?
Shh, it's
Okay.
fine. It's fine.
Alright.
We just you brake by going into a wall. That's what happens.
I've done that before on a hoverboard. Dude, it was.
Dude, those things were a curse and a blessing.
Dude.
'Cause I got so lazy. Like me and my friends, we used to ride them to Subway. Like you could get to Subway on residential roads, not residential, but like neighborhood roads. We would ride them all the way to Subway and back. That's what we did. We go get a sandwich from Subway and ride them back. But like when I would go get food, like from my fridge, I wouldn't walk. I'd hop on the Segway.
Bro,
I don't know
what?
how. I swear to God, I don't know how I didn't get to like 800 pounds.
Oh my god. My parents never let me get one because like I wanted one when like first came out.
Yeah, and then they would blow up.
Yeah, they were blowing up and they
Yeah.
were stupid expensive.
Dude, you know how much they made them for? This could be also disinformation, but they made them for like, I think they made like $50.
Probably.
And they sold them for like $600. Now you go to Walmart, like $50.
You see 'em for like 200. Yeah.
Yeah, $200.
Cheap.
Yeah, but
There's a lot of stuff blowing up though. You got to be careful.
this is true.
Mm-hmm.
What about Norfolk, man? The train
that?
you didn't hear about that?
Oh wait, the train in
The train that got derailed, in Ohio.
Yeah.
There was
Oh, yeah,
another
I
one a
heard
couple of days ago too. This has been like a constant thing for like the past like month, ever since the one in Ohio happened.
Yeah.
I can't tell if it's like people are like hyper fixating on it because like it's a popping thing,
Mhm.
or if it's just more frequent. Because like after the one in Ohio, like every 2 days, like just look in the news, like you'll see it, like, oh, Norfolk Southern train derailed in Alabama.
Yeah.
Then you look at the next day, oh, it derailed in Kansas.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting to think about.
I mean,
Maybe.
I don't know, man. I mean, it could be sabotage. Who knows?
Yeah.
That makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that it's entirely possible that something's going on there, but
At the same time, we don't know though, which is even
Exactly.
weirder because like we will never know. Like if there is like, I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat here. If there is like an alternate like agenda like to sway you from like the truth, and that you're just pumping this into the media just to make it like a thing, we would never know. I mean, like what are you gonna do though? Like even if that's the thing, like what are you gonna do? Like you can't. There's nothing you can do except worry about yourself.
yeah. I mean, not necessarily though. I mean, I think it's all about energy. I think that if you can spread a more positive vibe and a more positive energy to people, that that will radiate from one person to another.
Yeah.
That will eventually.
I think so too. I mean, I think the big problem, this is my opinion, I think the big problem now is that people, they just don't want to talk to each other when they have differing beliefs.
Oh yeah.
Like even if I think someone's a complete and utter moron for what they think, what they're saying, I'll still listen to them and talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean I don't. I'm not gonna. They're not gonna change my mind. I'm probably not gonna change their mind. But like just having a simple conversation is like such like a taboo thing now.
Yeah.
Like it's like impossible to like for people to fathom.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to get political, but like if someone's like if I was on the left and someone came to me on the right, I would sit and talk to them. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Like what's wrong with them? Like there's nothing. There's
Yeah.
no reason why you shouldn't talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You need to discuss differing viewpoints
Yeah.
because that way you come to a mutual agreement on something. May not be everything, but I mean it is what it is. I mean you actually have to just be nice. That's I think the problem. I think everyone just needs to be nice.
Yeah.
Just be nice. And I'm a huge hypocrite when I say that because I get pretty pissed sometimes and I'm like the worst person.
That was Nick's laptop, not this Nick. The Nick from the last episode. What do you think about aliens?
Yeah, oh, dude, this is my favorite topic in the world. You ready?
All right.
I think aliens are among us. I swear to God,
Like in our government or like among us?
No, not like that. But like, I mean, like, we definitely have like some craft. I mean, honestly, you want to call me a conspiracy theorist? The Pentagon released videos of like of UFOs. Man, it could be a freaking petri dish that someone threw up in the air that a camera caught. Who knows? But it's weird. But I think that the probability that there's not a thing of like aliens, they may not look like how we think, like 2 feet tall with a huge noggin.
Yeah.
But they're definitely out there. Like
Yeah.
Like my brain cannot even like comprehend how big the universe is, and they have to be out there. Like,
Yeah.
but an alien is just like something that's not related to us. So it could be like a bacteria, which technically we found on Mars. That's like a thing. Like there's bacteria on Mars that we found. So technically there is an alien right there. I mean, if you want it, I mean, it's not gonna be what we think it is, but
Yeah.
there is one.
It is alien to us.
Yeah, it's not from this planet, and it's alive. So I mean, but like even I don't know if you ever saw this. There's a I think it's like a chart, or no, it's a scale. So it's a scale of like how like advanced civilizations, like a type 1, type 2, type 3. I don't know the exact like classifications for it, but I think like a type 1 is able to like a type 1 or whatever is like able to like harness like is be able to like colonize other planets and harness like their sun and to I don't know the exact specifications, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So we're at 0.5. We're at half of what the type 1 civilization, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And also pretty shitty.
It's really interesting the way we as creatures evolved into our current society.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think?
Oh, no. I'll let you finish your thought.
What do you think about the pyramids?
Pyramids? What do I think about the pyramids? I don't even know what I think, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, what I think is, I think that we did make them, but I think the technology that they, like the methods and technology that they used to move the blocks, I think it just got lost in time. Like, I know how stupid that may sound, but
no, I know exactly what you're talking
like, for example, if you look like 10,000 years ago, not even 10,000 years ago, like throughout history, like the history of the earth, the different biomes changed. Like, for example, like deserts were rainforest, rainforests were deserts.
Yeah.
The tundra was the Great Plains. Like, this is like an actual thing that would happen. So what I think like the is it geography? I think that's the word.
Yeah.
The geography of like the landscape and like the places that throughout the world, I think that they changed through time, and like of course there may be like different rivers there. Maybe there was a river that they could float the blocks down. I don't know. I'm not a genius, but maybe that's the case. Maybe there was more water somewhere. Maybe there was different climates or like different landscapes or different geographical features.
The biggest thing has got to be the technology.
Yeah, I think that like cause they had ancient Egyptians had batteries. It was like 1 watt. It was 1 watt. I have like grape juice, but it was something.
They had like there's multiple pictures of like drill holes.
Yeah.
From I wish I had like a Jamie and like this was like Joe Rogan. I'd be like, Jamie, pull that up and, like, picture like the drill hole would like pop up right here. We're not that advanced yet, but we'll get there. But yeah, like the drill holes, like how do you even explain that? there's so much stuff that
I'm not even familiar with the drill holes. I have not even heard about that stuff.
it's like it just literally looks like a drill hole on like stuff from like the pyramids age.
Okay.
I'm no like geologist.
Oh,
or
you mean
whatever,
like with like an actual drill?
yeah, it looks like a cordless drill.
A cordless drill.
And like
that, dude. Imagine. Could you
Yeah.
imagine? Oh, I'm
I
just
don't-
adjusting the microphone.
there's
I'm going the wrong way.
there's so many instances of technology that was lost that is not being mainstreamed.
I agree.
And I'm honestly not sure the direct reason behind that. Actually, kind of. But like, what do you think about that?
Of like why like they're withholding technology.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. Either there's two options. Either there is none, and we're just stupid, or there's a lot that's like not from this planet, or like not. That sounds like so like weird to say, but like that's like it might be from like I don't know, or it might like contradict like the textbooks, like the history textbooks that like we wrote. So maybe they're not doing it that way because they would like completely contradict everything, all the money that was made from these people that wrote these books. Maybe that's why, or it might freak people out. I mean, it wouldn't freak us, it mean you out, but maybe some majority of the population, it would freak them out. Who knows?
Yeah.
It probably would.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean, I don't know. I just wish we kept, or I don't know if we kept the records, but I wish the records were available of all of our history.
I mean, the other option is too that we just, like I said, we didn't keep like good enough records of stuff.
Because like, you know about the Library of Alexandria?
I've not heard about that, no.
So basically, I'm not too educated on the subject, but basically, it was a library, a huge library. Like, it was like the library. And it had all of our info.
Yeah.
And then it burned down.
Who burned it down? This is the $1 million question.
Mm-hmm.
Who burned it down?
Maybe they took the books out first.
That's an idea. Maybe they did. Or maybe they burned it down because they didn't like what the books had in them. Now we're going to start wearing tinfoil hats.
Yeah. Maybe the books are in the Vatican archive.
Ooh, that would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
We would never see them, though.
Oh,
Like,
definitely.
there's just no way.
Maybe.
Try subpoenaing the Vatican. It's not going to happen.
Try what?
Subpoenaing the Vatican. Like ordering them to, like, move around.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, they're not going to let you in.
I think it's crazy how, I forget what they're called, but, like, you remember when the church used to, like, you used to have to pay the church to get into heaven? You know what I'm talking about?
I never heard of that. That was the thing.
What?
That was a thing?
Yeah. I read about it in, like, art history books. Wow. Like, the church did it for, like, so long. I don't remember what it was called, but, like, they were doing that to, like, make money and, like, I don't know. I feel like there's so much shit.
That's something they would do.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
100%.
There's so much shit with, like, the Catholic Church that,
Dude,
me personally, just makes me go, like,
do you want to go down the rabbit hole? I'll go down the rabbit hole.
How deep are we going here?
We're going to go deep. We're going to go all the way down to the core.
All right.
I mean, I don't know. We'll go as deep as we want. But it's so weird that majority of I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say this, but a majority of priests that of all pedophiles that have been caught in the world, a majority of them are priests. Like people like me and people who hold power. You can, well, that's besides counting billionaires, but like majority of billionaires, but that's like a thing. Like the most like I forget what it was, but it was like the most like it was like the most like awful case of like extortion of kids and like sex trafficking kids was through the Catholic Church, from one church to another. I don't know. It's just weird. It's a weird coincidence. I mean, it's not weird, but it's just like an interesting coincidence.
I don't even know if coincidence is the right word, but it might just be a fact. But I don't know. I mean, there's just so much taken into consideration these days with every single thing that it's so hard to really put your finger down on.
Yeah, it is weird. Like what's weird too is like the Vatican now is like known for like money laundering. Yeah, that's like, and like what are you gonna do? You're gonna try to like seize the capital? Yeah, bust down doors of the Vatican. You're gonna get like condemned by the entire world. Oh yeah, forget it. They're untouchable, which is, I mean, it's whatever, but I don't know, man. Interesting world.
Definitely that.
Yeah,
that's for sure. What do you think about the triangle with an eye on it on our currency?
That is funny that you brought that up. It's like there's dollar bills sitting over there too. That's funny.
Yeah, I don't think it's not on the 20.
No, it's on the $1, the $1 bill. What do I think of that? I think it's weird. It's very weird. 'Cause like that's like the I think it was like that's the logo for like the Freemasons or something like that. gonna get suicided.
If you don't hear from us.
Don't suicide me, please. I'm kidding.
Speaking of all this tinfoil hat talk, what do you think about electric cars?
Do you honestly want to know what I think about them? They're a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. So, if you really want to make like renewable energy that does not pollute, it's nuclear. Nuclear energy is like the cleanest energy that has had the lowest, like besides like man-made accidents with like meltdowns, the lowest. There's been 0 deaths. I mean, you think I'm blowing smoke, but
What about like Chernobyl?
Well, that's what I mean. That was like a human
okay.
accident, but like unless like you're sitting there like cuddling with uranium, you're like not protected from like I think it was the radioactive isotopes. I'm not like a nuclear chemist at all, but unless like you're not protected from like the nuclear material, then you're gonna die. Like, but my point is like no one's like lived next to like a nuclear facility when it doesn't blow up, and has died from like air pollution.
Yeah.
People live next to like coal facilities. They get like I don't even know what the hell it's like miners' lung or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like that's with mining coal, but like their lungs get completely shot from all the stuff going in there. But like the answer to like renewable energy is nuclear.
What about solar?
Solar is I just don't think solar is the option. It's like it's just not scalable. Like when I say scalable, I mean like it's just
Yeah. I know what you mean.
they don't last that long. Like they do and they don't. Like if for example like if you get solar panels on your roof, and
it depends where you live.
that's also true. But if you get solar panels on your roof, and you want to get a new roof, you can't just pay a roofer to come do it. You have to pay a special solar electrician to come do it. And there's only like X amount of those like in your area, so now you gotta pay a premium for it.
Yeah.
So now your roof that would have been like $10,000 is actually now like $35,000, and not many people have like $35,000 to pull out of their ass for a roof.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. I just think if you want like a cool investment, speculative investment to look into SMRs, small modular reactor. So what these companies are doing, they're making these reactors that you can put like in your yard essentially. They're small nuclear reactors that you bury underground.
It sounds pretty crazy.
It sounds crazy, but they put them in. I think there's 8 of them. Obviously, there's gonna be different sizes when they roll them out, but there's 8 of them along the Gulf of Mexico because like there's a lot of water there for like the power grids down there. So they're trying them out there. I mean, I don't work there, so I don't know.
How big
Like
are they, like?
I don't know exactly, but they're probably like 4 or 5 feet tall. I think like they're big, but like in comparison to like
ground or below?
They're below ground. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me. I think they're below ground because I think what they do is they pour like a concrete mold around it. Because like concrete, like when they bury like the rods for like nuclear reactors, when they've used up all the energy from them, they encase them in concrete and they put them like underground. There's like a huge thing like underground in the U.S. where it's just all like dead reactors, waste. But they pour a little concrete mold, they put the reactor in there, and then I think they sealed it with something obviously too. But anyway, they put like there's like a water. They run the water through there because the water is like what cools it down, prevents it from blowing up. And that's what makes the steam. So all it does is it heats up the reactor, the rod, superheats it and dumps it in water, and the steam that it makes from dumping it in water spins like a turbine on top. But you can heat them up and cool. You can keep heating them up a lot, so they don't lose that much stuff.
There's a lot going on with nuclear. I mean, I don't really understand
cool.
it, but
The big red button, the N word, nuclear word. That's what Trump says.
Let's go. What do you think about Tesla?
I love Tesla. I love Elon. Like I love like Tesla's a company. Genius. I like Elon. I love Elon. Did you know Tesla as a company is not only for not only electric cars? I do that.
What?
So Tesla as a company, they don't only sell like electric cars. Like that's like their like flagship thing, but they sell insurance. There's like software, a couple other things too. But like I forget what they use for their cars, but it's not like LiDAR. It's like what most cars use. So like for like lane keeping assist or whatever, all that crap, like pedestrian detection, and like backing up. So Tesla, what they did was like say like a Tesla gets into an accident down the road, and it's from like a semi truck merging over, and the car didn't brake. It will make a note of that and say, listen, next time there's a semi-truck merging over with this angle of a turn, like all these variables that it takes into account as it's driving. Next time this exact situation happens, do this instead. and then it shares it on the cloud with all other Teslas that are connected. So they're all connected to the cloud.
Mm.
And like this isn't just one car. There's like I don't know how many Teslas. There's probably millions of Teslas in the U.S. and globally too. So it's a global like data sharing thing. They sell insurance too. So and they're solar.
Was it car insurance?
I think it's all like life insurance, car insurance, health insurance.
Interesting. I never knew they did insurance.
It's right. Like, a lot of people didn't know that. I was watching a video with Kevin O'Leary, and he said that like he wasn't going to invest in Tesla, but his son was like, "By the way, Dad, Tesla's not just a car company. They're a tech company, obviously, and they're like their software, insurance, like energy, all that crap." So,
what do you think about the batteries?
I think, but obviously, there's like a whole thing going on now for like cobalt mining in the Congo.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. So I think that cause it's just so like labor intensive to get lithium and the cobalt. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like, what carries the cobalt to the Tesla factory? It's a diesel ship or a diesel truck. Mm-hmm. Like that's the whole funny thing about it.
Think about the footprint you leave just to get the cobalt.
Exactly. Like the footprint you get just to get that little battery is big battery is pretty big. So like you say, oh, my carbon footprint is so small. It's not that small. Like it's that's clown world. Like it's not small. It's pretty big, but people just don't like to look at the whole facts. I mean, I would buy a Tesla. They're fast. They're nice. They're comfortable. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. One thing I think with Tesla is like, this might be very tinfoil hat of me, but I don't know. I mean, like, what if there's a global emergency, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, all right, I'm hopping in the car and I'm at it. But what if the government was like, no, you're not turning the car on?
Also, they shut off the car.
Yeah, so they just shut off the car.
That's another thing. I mean, if you want to wear a tinfoil hat, they might want us all to get electric cars so they can't start them up. Like they can dictate where we go.
Yeah.
And who we see.
Mm-hmm. And this is something I thought of like a while ago. Not like a while ago, but like a decent bit ago. And like I started telling people and they were like, oh shit. Like that'd be crazy.
A lot of people don't think of that. That's like a big thing.
Not that, what I'm about to say.
Oh.
So like, not all Teslas. A lot of Teslas are self-driving.
Yeah.
So imagine you hop in your car, it starts driving, right? You don't think anything of it. The doors lock, you can't get out of the car, and then you are drove to a location that you don't know where the location is, and who even knows what happens from there. Like imagine you're someone of like a high profile, you get in your Tesla and you're done. They're taking you.
And they just don't like you. That's why they're taking you.
Oh yeah. Well, either that or they want your money or something.
This is another possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get Tesla. Don't have your only car.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have your only car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think like gas, like it's not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone's making a big deal of it. It's not a fart in the wind. Like for example, 10,000 years ago, they drilled these ice cores in Antarctica, like 100-foot long ice cores. They took a big hollow bit. They stuck it down 100 feet. They pulled it up, and because it's so cold in like the Arctic, you can tell like how much carbon was in the air and how long ago. It's called carbon dating. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. You can like date it back of like when each like section of the ice was. You can date it back to like how far ago it was, and how much carbon was in the air. Because that's what everyone's saying now is the carbon.
Yeah.
Well, 10,000 years ago, it was 7 degrees Celsius warmer on average than now. And you know what we didn't have back then? Gas cars.
Yeah.
Or factories. So clearly it's not us. I mean, sure, did we exploit it a little bit? Sure. I'll play into that. Yeah, a little bit. But it's not as bad as they say it is.
Yeah. I think it's undeniable to say that we've had
zero effect.
Definitely, yeah.
Some effect, but it's not as bad. It's not that bad. Mm-hmm. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could be wrong too, but like also like the Earth does like tilt closer and farther away from the sun. But what you should be scared of is an ice age.
Oh yeah.
Like that's closer than like us superheating and turning into dust. Like, that's closer. But I don't know.
I think it's crazy how in a perfect position we are. I'm talking about our planet.
Planet and also just like life-wise. Like we don't have to worry about like running around in a field like killing a saber-toothed tiger for food.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, definitely that, but like even before that, whatever happened, like our planet has to be in a certain spot in relation to the sun.
Yeah.
So that it's even possible for like water to be here.
That's true. Yeah. If we were one planet closer, what's that? Mercury, Venus,
Yeah,
right?
Venus.
Venus. I'm not an idiot. If we were Venus, we'd be all dried up. Mars used to have water on it too, which is even crazier.
Mm-hmm.
Used to have water. People think there's
I think it still has water on it, but it's frozen.
it's like it's underneath, right? It's like it's
Is that your guy?
Oh no, that's not the guy. No.
All right, just let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there was ice, I'm pretty sure, found on Mars.
Yeah, you're right. You are right. I think it was like underground or something.
Oh yeah, deep.
I think it was like underground, but it's still there. You know, like if we can dig a hole to get diamonds out of the ground, I think that we can figure out how to bore a hole down there
Definitely.
and drink some water. But like in Mars, like you have to make like your own atmosphere too. You know what Elon said? He wants to nuke. He wants to nuke the poles of Mars.
I mean,
I don't know, man. Because if you nuke the poles, it makes like I think he was saying like it would make like the perfect like atmosphere.
yeah.
I think he tried. I don't know if this is true, but I think he tried buying like nukes from Russia. They nuked the poles of Mars.
I wouldn't be surprised if one day he's like, fuck it. Tesla
I think
nukes.
he would. I think he would. I
Totally
mean,
would.
he launched a roadster in space.
That's pretty sick.
Imagine the alien, you see that fly past your ship.
They
Little Tesla roadster.
Yeah.
Little
They probably
putt-putt.
wouldn't even know what the hell was going on. They'd be like,
Dude,
"Is there,
honestly,
like an astronaut in it? Like
dude.
like a fake one."
Probably. Dude, if they saw that, like they were so advanced, like travel like through solar systems, they'd look at it and be like, we made that like 10,000 years ago.
Yeah. It's like space graffiti.
Yeah,
to them.
they'd be like, well, why would we even bother with these guys? Like, they're just stupid.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I'd love to like have an alien like land outside and be like, "Yo, let's go. We're gonna go.
Oh, I would
we're gonna
go.
take a trip."
I would go like Rick and Morty.
Oh, dude, I love Rick and Morty.
Dude, that
Rick and
it's
Morty's
done
so
now, right? Isn't it done?
No, the creators got. I don't even know what happened. I know. It's like he messed up. I think
Yeah.
some young girls were involved.
Oh, well, who would have thought?
Who would have thought? That's funny. But yeah, I thought I read that season 7 was going to come out, but I'm honestly not sure.
Wait, it's season 7, you said, right?
Yeah, I think season
6 is
finished.
out, yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I think I did. I think is it on HBO now? If it's on HBO,
Yeah, I
I
think it's on
probably did.
HBO Max. I think
Nice.
it might also be on Hulu. I don't know if the newest ones are on Hulu.
Dude, Hulu is like not that good.
Mhm.
It's okay. It's like mediocre.
Mhm.
It's not as good as I thought it was. Like
It's like-
everything used to be on Hulu.
Dude, yeah, it's facts, bro. Like Rick and Morty used to be on Hulu, and I was like, yo, Hulu is crazy.
Hulu used to be good. Now it's like I think it switches though. It's like Netflix, HBO Max is good. Peacock
Dude,
is not that
HBO
bad.
Max is looking pretty fire.
Yeah,
lately.
but Peacock's not that bad. Peacock is pretty good.
got a lot.
I used to make fun of Peacock.
Yeah, they had like the World Cup on Peacock.
They
right?
did?
That's crazy. The World Cup, like,
That's interesting.
honestly, Netflix kind of dropped. Like,
Netflix did take a shit. It did. Because I think they just made it too expensive, and people were like, "Well, I can just go to HBO for like $12 a month."
honestly, like, I don't even know like the financial side because my mom pays for Netflix. But just from like content wise, like I
It's
can
not there.
tell Netflix is
Yeah.
going down. I mean, depends what you want though. Because if you want like comedy specials or like certain movies, like Netflix is obviously pretty great. But I
Yeah,
feel like there used to be so much more on Netflix that's not on Netflix anymore.
that's true. That's definitely. I mean,
But
like
that comes with all of them.
that's true. Dude, Paramount Plus is pretty good too. Paramount, I think Paramount's underrated.
I used to have Disney Plus. I don't have it anymore.
I still have Disney Plus. I just don't watch it. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing with Disney Plus. Like, you get it and you're like, wow,
dude,
this is great.
No, I will watch it. I just remember this: The Mandalorian, the new
Mandalorian's
season of
fire.
Mandalorian. That show was really good. I didn't watch it. I think there's 2 more seasons that came out, but the first one was really good.
Honestly, for me, like, what was on Disney just wasn't worth paying for it. Because Disney Plus was
Yeah.
actually one thing I was paying for. And, like, I didn't use it enough
Yeah,
for it to be a valid purchase.
yeah, that's true. That's fair. But so, what's the game plan? What's the game plan?
What do you mean? About which one we're buying? Or?
No. What the fuck was I gonna say? I had a brain fart. What was I gonna say? I had a brain fart.
Yeah, we've been talking for an hour.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. So back to real estate. That's what I want to say. So my recommendation for real estate, like I said, I only have my first one, but I think I'm somewhat qualified to say this. I think the next like year and a half is gonna be pretty good for buying stuff because of interest rates being so high, and like I don't know, a lot of people know this. When you buy like big buildings, it's called a commercial loan. The rates, like it's called variable, so they move like as interest rates move. Like if you get like a traditional home mortgage, you're usually locked in at one rate. So say I go to Chase and say, listen, Mr. Bruno, 4.5% rate for you. It's not going to happen now, but 4.5% rate. But if you go to like a commercial loan, they'll say, well, right now it's 4.5%, but if it goes, interest rates go up to 9, well, you're going to be at 9% now. So a lot of people are like under on their mortgages, and they're forced to sell them because they just didn't. It's called, you can get like rate insurance, but people just don't do it.
I definitely need to do more stuff in real estate, but I just don't. I'm not at that level yet.
You'll get there. I mean, it just takes time too. Like obviously, like it just like I was in a lucky position, but it is what it is. But at the same time, like when I get to like owning like apartment buildings, like I probably will start also my own podcast and just sit there and just like help people. It's like that.
Yeah.
Because like dude, like if someone came to me, the one guy I watch on YouTube, his name's Ben Mala, super big, like cool guy. I never met him, but YouTube wise, looks pretty cool. He owns $500 million in real estate in Florida. Like if he came to me and said, "Hey, listen, Nick, I'm going to show you the ways to trade," I would do whatever he wanted. I listen to him. But a lot of people don't have that. Like, I feel like people like think that real estate is like it's really intimidating too, because like if you mess up, then you're screwed. Like people think that too, but at the same time, not really. Because like as long as you just do the right things and you're just not stupid with your money, you'll you'll figure it out.
Yeah. Was it a lot of paperwork?
It was a good amount of paperwork. I mean, I think the most was just I didn't have to sign a lot of it, but it was just reading a lot of stuff because like I had to learn how to read like a couple legal documents. Like I had a really good lawyer that helped me out. Like my old neighbor, he helped me out a lot. But the reading of the legal documents was probably the hardest, the most, because like I don't like signing stuff before I read it. So I like every couple of paragraphs I have like copy and like the wording and the phrasing I'd copy into Google and stick what it meant and all that fun stuff. But I mean, as long as you can like read and write and just articulate yourself the right way, you'll be fine.
Yeah. That paperwork will get you though. I mean, it
will, because there was one. What the hell was it? It was one thing. Like it's the wording. It's like the verbiage they use to like. Yeah. It may sound like it means something else, but it doesn't. It actually means something completely different.
That reminds me of what's going on right now, actually, with you know about the TikTok thing?
Yeah. I thought I was brainwashed on that. I thought that like it was actually China trying to spy on us, and it wasn't. It's literally not. It's like a direct opposite, actually.
Yeah, just a company.
Yeah, and it's the U.S. is just trying to shut it down because like there is an unbiased essentially news source. I know how stupid that sounds, but like,
yeah.
That's why, because like stuff was getting out that they don't want to get out. But
I mean, and what they're trying to do right now in banning it, I don't know if it's like what they're trying to like implement is like worse than TikTok.
I think so too. Well, I didn't hear about that. I mean, I know they're trying to ban TikTok. Like they already own Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. Essentially, like what else are they trying to implement after TikTok?
You have TikTok yourself?
I don't.
I don't either.
No, honestly, like what are they trying to implement like after?
I don't. No, they're trying to like basically like I don't know what it's called. If it's like I don't know what to call it. Like whatever like file they're trying to implement or like what laws.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, this is not a reliable source. But from what I've seen and what I've heard, it seems to be that they're using this to actually extract more data from you.
Oh, I believe that 100%. I mean, just check my phone. Sorry.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know. There's so much going on that even people that are trying to see it can't even see because it's just such high-level stuff that, like, we don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's more that we don't know, and I think that they're just.
Definitely.
I mean, why would they tell us? We're just like we're the cattle. They're the cattle herder. Like they have no incentive to tell us. If anything, it would just hurt. It would hurt like what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I think there's a large group of people that need to like base themselves. That makes sense.
I agree. I think
come back to true reality.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of people live in clown world. It's clown world, and a lot of people just I don't know. I feel like it's just a lot of people just like they're comfortable with where they're at, and they just the slightest inconvenience, they just want to. Oh, it was closer. The slightest inconvenience, they just want to like stop working hard and just stop trying, which is kind of stupid. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I had those days too. I sit there. I'm like, well, I really don't want to study right now, or I really don't want to drive all the way to my property to fix this thing. Like it sounds like such like a privileged thing to say, but like sometimes I want to sit on my ass and not do anything. But at the same time, I'm like, well, there's someone else out there who is not doing that. Who's also gonna be like competition for me one day. So
your competition is working right now.
Exactly, which is, it sounds so gay to say, but like that's just what it is. I mean, that's the problem. Like you could sit there and sure I could sit there and slack, but someone else is just gonna come and just take the same opportunity that I may have had if I went there. Like I could meet someone there. Like someone could be walking by. It could be like a realtor. It's like, oh, I have this one property that I'm looking to my client's looking to let go, but I would have never met that person if I just didn't get up off my ass and go.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
It's crazy just how everything all comes together. Just how like the world works. Like if my sister rather never became friends with Alyssa, like this conversation would never be happening right now.
No shot. I would have no idea you even existed.
Yeah.
You would have no idea I even existed either.
Like it's just crazy, like the butterfly effect and like how it affects our daily lives. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's like, you ever seen that? I've never seen that movie, but there's a movie about the butterfly effect, right? Isn't that like a thing?
Is it? I don't know. There's like this new movie that I gotta watch that is apparently pretty good. It's like Everything All at Once.
I haven't heard of that one yet.
I've heard it's pretty good. It's actually made by Marvel.
Oh, that's probably a good movie then. Marvel makes some good stuff.
Definitely.
I don't know.
So what do you do for like entertainment, media?
Entertainment? So my original entertainment for the past year was I had a sport bike. I sold it because I thought I was gonna die. All right. So here's my you want to hear my rationale for why I sold it? Mm-hmm. I topped it out. What
does that mean? So you went full speed on it?
Full speed on it. I'm like, okay, well that's the first thing. I got too comfortable on it and I started dipping through traffic, and I sold it. One of my best friends, he has a Ninja, Kawasaki Ninja. He called me a vag, every name in the book. So I sold it, and I want another one, but at the same time, like I would only get a faster one because why would I get the same speed bike? You know what I mean? But like, at the same time, if I get a faster one, I'm just gonna kill myself because I'm just gonna keep going faster and faster, and I'm gonna clip a car. I already know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna clip a car, and I'm gonna go head over heels. I'm just gonna get cheese grated by the asphalt. It's not gonna be fun. So I mean, that's what I did for a while. The gym was like, it still is like my safe space. It sounds so stupid, but I got my appendix removed, so I can't work out for like 6 weeks. So
what have you been doing?
So, literally, the treadmill. So I'll tell you the story. So I'm at the hospital, and she said, "Well, you can't lift weights." I'm like, "Okay, I understand that." I was like, "Well, what's the cutoff?" She's like, 15 pounds. So one nurse said 20 pounds. One nurse said 15 pounds. So I'm like, "Well, are we just like decreasing it every time someone comes in? Like, what are we doing?" So I considered 15 pounds. So she said, "Well, you can do cardio." I'm like, "Oh, come on." The one thing that I hate the most, I have to do now, but like, it is what it is. But like, I've been like doing a little bit heavier than 15 pounds. Don't tell my doctor, but I feel fine. I mean, I feel okay. It's been like, it happened a week ago, but like at the
surgery.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, so here's my whole theory. So if I think if I nuke my body with protein, I have like a shitload of protein that way, because that's what your body uses to like repair itself. Yeah. I think I should be okay, because they didn't even like cut me open all the way. They took like three little probes. Skynet was in my body, as I call it, Skynet. So it was like a little robot that the doctor was controlling. So I mean, I watched it on YouTube. It doesn't look like that invasive. Like I was a lot better than I thought, but I was nervous. So yeah, they put me out. I was talking smack to the doctor. I was like, "Doc, this anesthesia is not going to work." And I counted to 2 and I fell asleep.
Dude, but that'll take you out, bro. That anesthesia is crazy.
Dude, I was really scared though. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, I did. I had to do it anyway. But like, I was nervous. I was just like, I've never been under the knife before, and I thought like I was like I thought they were gonna like cut me open. But like I was just worried because I was like, I just can't see, like if something happens, like I can't see it. Like it's not like on the outside.
It's not there.
Yeah, if I break my finger, I can see. Like afterwards, if I break my finger, like, I can see it. I can't see inside my body, so I don't know. But I think if I just do the machines, it should be okay. Because like, come on, the machines, like, come on.
I think it's all about like how much you're pushing.
Right? Yeah,
I think that it like bursts.
Yeah, so they took it out because like I was throwing up and like going to the bathroom nonstop. It was from like 8 p.m. all the way up to like 4 in the morning. I drove myself to the hospital at 4 o'clock in the morning. I got there at 4:30, and then they took me in or whatever. Morrison Hospital is great, by the way. So go there.
Good man.
So they did a CAT scan. They saw like my appendix was like slightly inflamed. I guess this happens like anybody because I guess like is like your appendix like doesn't connect to anything in your body.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a little parachute like that, just like a bag that constantly fills up,
Mm-hmm.
and like you can't just like flush it out.
Mm-hmm.
So it
What
got
happened? It got like filled.
yeah. So it was just like so it gets filled, and like it starts to get like infected inside your body,
Oh, okay.
and then it starts to expand, and eventually if it blows up, and that's a lot. Like you can die from it if you don't go to the doctor. But like if you don't go to the doctor, like you'll die once it blows up in your body. And then they usually they just cut it and take it out. But
Mm.
like they're like you can just take medication or you can take it out. I was like, please take it out. So there's no like I'm just gonna be
So
back there.
what is it used for? Just nothing? Literally nothing? Or?
So they say it's nothing, but I looked it up and apparently because I think like your gallbladder does the same thing, but like I'm not a doctor. Like, this is what it probably came out from like WebMD or some shit, but
Mm-hmm.
it said that like your appendix is responsible. Like when you have like diarrhea and you have a bad stomach infection, and you're pooping a lot, it repopulate you all like the good gut bacteria like in your intestines and like your large intestine, your colon get like moved out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's responsible for like repopulating your like large
Mm.
intestine, your colon, like good bacteria.
Yeah.
And I think it was used for like when you eat like raw meat back in like the saber-tooth tiger days.
Mm.
Like you wouldn't get as sick if you couldn't cook it. But I don't know. I mean, I think I'm fine. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like dude. There's only like three little stitches, like not stitch, like three little like incisions.
Hmm.
Is that crazy?
What they do? Just like go in there and like pop it or something, or like
So
take it out? Or?
they made like three incisions that they look like little grabbers.
Mm.
They put like these three grabbers in there. I think one's like a claw, one's like a scissor, and the other one's like to like cauterize like when they cut it, they burn it like to
Mm.
seal it, seal it up. So the first one, they did that. So they go in there, they tie it off in there. That way,
How the fuck do they do that?
I
Like,
have
how
no
do
idea.
they do
I don't
that?
know.
Where even is it? It's like
So
isn't it, like right
it's
here.
right here. So it's like right. So it's your large intestine. And it's a little
Mm.
bullshit thing on the side. So
Mhm.
they tie it off like to restrict the blood flow. Then
Mhm.
they cut it. And they take like tongs and they clamp it and the tongs heat up and they cauterize it.
So they take it out, or
They take it out. What's the video? They put it in like a little baggie. They smuggle a
do you have
baggie
to
in
keep
there.
it?
No, I did not ask to keep it. I remember I got your mom took me to the hospital. I got the fish hook in my finger.
Oh yeah,
I wanted to keep it and they didn't give it to me.
the fish hook.
Yeah, I wanted a little fishing lure.
Dude, that would have been sick.
Dude, it was a little crawfish. Little bastard. I think I have this scar somewhere. My finger. Oh, well.
How bad was it? Was it bad?
I mean, it hurt because like it was like on a bag, and I didn't grab it like a pair of pliers. So, like I was like, it had a barb on it, obviously, so it was stuck through the bag. And like an asshole, I was pulling the bag, and pulling like I would grab the top
Oh,
of it. And I was pulling it,
you just pulled it into
and I
you.
pulled it off, and it
Mhm.
went into my finger. And I was like, oh shit, that hurt. But I tried like pushing it through, like to cut it and pull it out. But I was like, I am too much of a pussy for this. Like it hurt pretty bad. So then I had to go there. They had to cut it out. They gave me a tetanus shot, all the fun stuff. But they didn't give me the lure back. It was a little crawfish.
Was the crawfish still on it?
Yeah, it was two triple hooks.
Oh,
I got two of them, two of the three. So I still didn't catch a bass after that.
you went back?
I went back. I didn't catch a bass. You remember that? I was on a hunt for a bass for like the longest time. I finally caught one, but I was so mad.
I just recently went down to Florida for spring break, and the fishing there is.
Yeah, dude, that's where it is.
I actually just caught like a really nice bass, and like a
The bass are big there.
dude.
They're big.
It's the biggest bass I've ever caught.
You gotta catch an alligator.
We did catch alligators actually.
You did?
Unfortunately, yeah. Dude, the alligators down there.
Wait, what? Did they like bite the fish, or did you cast out and like grab them?
Nah, like they'll grab it. Like if there's like a little worm, like
They'll
if
eat
you're
it?
trying to fish, yeah, no, they'll go for it. They'll definitely go for it.
That's funny.
They're fast too. Some of them, like the small ones, like don't know what happened, but we're back.
So taxes.
Taxes.
This is my favorite topic. Okay, so I said before that I'm not going to be paying any taxes, and if you're IRS, if you're watching, this is illegal. So it's legal because the rental property that I own is under a limited liability corporation.
LLC.
Yes, LLC for short. So when you have a bit corporation, it's called an S corp is what you want to do because that way an S corp allows the revenue to pass directly through the business to its owners as distributions, which is what it is. I mean, I'm not doing anything crazy. It's not legal. I'm just taking distributions, like a dividend from my company that owns the asset. You do that because if someone slips, falls, and breaks their balls, they don't sue. They can't sue you for all the stuff that's separate from the property. They can only sue you for the value, the company that holds the property. So the reason why we pay any taxes legally is because the government likes to incentivize people to invest in certain industries. Example, like housing, oil refinery. Refinery is a big one, but that's super expensive to do. Big barrier to entry from cost. So when you buy a property, you get to write off the total amount over the course of 20, I think it's 27 years. Call it 24 years. Between 24 and 27 years. So say you buy a property for $1 million every year. I have to pull out my calculator. I'm not that math savvy. So $1 million.
Gotta bust out the calculator for this one.
Okay, million schmeckles divided by 27. So that means every year you get to write off $37,000 and $37,037 from your taxes. So if you make, say, $37,000 exactly, you get to write off $37,000. So now you're at zero. You break even. Now, since you have a property, your expenses that you can deduct are property tax, insurance, any capital improvements, any maintenance, anything like that. So my property tax will be deducted from my taxes. My insurance will be deducted, and all the renovations I did will be deducted as well. And then what you can do too is, say for example, so say you're at like a negative. So on paper you lost money, which is true because your investment depreciation minus your expenses against your gross income because that's a negative number. Say you're negative, say $10,000, you get to roll that over to next year. So next year, if you want, your accountant will do this, but next year you're starting from negative $10,000. So you get an extra $10,000 to play with until you get to zero. And then that's how people who own like Elon Musk, he pays zero tax also because when he wants money, he just borrows against his assets. So he borrows against like his Tesla stock options. He'll borrow against like SpaceX for like the shuttle, whatever. And then since like all the other things, I have the landscaping company, the snow plowing thing. So the equipment costs and the gas costs too. So if you have like whatever company business you have, you get to, if you log your miles, the IRS gives you like a deduction for that, a standardized deduction, whether it's like depreciation on the car or like a regular mile deduction, like whichever one's greater is what you take. There's also like a limit to, like, you can't, if you make like $1 million a year, you can't write off like $1 million like from one thing. Like if it's greater than like it's a percentage of like your income. But if you have like multiple sources or multiple like business ventures, you can do it that way too. But yeah,
that's what a lot of people do at like G-Wagons, right?
That's right. Yeah. So the tax code. I'm not an accountant, by the way. Don't take my advice.
Yeah.
Don't talk to someone professional. But like the G-Wagon, because like the code and the tax code, if a vehicle is like 6,000 pounds or more, and it's like, I think it's 6,000 pounds or more, you get to write it off as a work car because it's just heavy. It's heavy, so you get to write off the full thing.
What about a minivan? How much is a minivan?
You can, yeah. I mean, if it's greater than 6,000 pounds, it could be whatever you want. It could be a bicycle with 5,000 pounds of weight on it. I mean, as long as it works. What the hell was the other thing? So that, but your limit is like $2 million is like what you can do. So like, but like no supercar weighs that much. So it's a little bit on how I'm paying. Well, legally paying, not paying tax. Like the one guy, like Robert Kawasaki, I think his name is. He wrote like the Rich Dad Poor Dad book.
Oh yeah.
He like I found this out from him. So I was listening to his podcast. He said the same shit. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But that's why.
You know about PMA, Private Membership Association?
I don't.
So that's what he's got over there at the hair salon. So if you want to get your hair cut there, you have to agree to be in the Private Membership Association. So according to the government, and like, they're not really a hair salon. It's just a group of people assembling. So if you go over there and you sign on the tablet that you're agreeing to be in the association, I can actually cut your hair over there.
Oh, so you don't have to have a license?
You don't, because it's not a hair salon.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And
So it's just like an association, where like a group, like a club where a bunch of people get together.
Yeah.
And just like hang out.
Yep. That'll get you around taxes. If you're not a hair salon, you're just a group of people assembling. It's crazy how that works.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty sick.
That's pretty cool.
You can ask them more about it too. Like, it goes deep too. It's like
That's pretty cool. I would have never thought of that.
Yeah.
I just think the tax code's cool. It's like if you look at it, like I haven't read it, all of it, but if you read it, the government tells you what to invest in and how you can use that to offset your tax. So the thing is too is like if you're making like say you work somewhere, right? So I get a job at like a brokerage firm. I'm managing someone's money. I make like say 65 grand a year.
Mm-hmm.
The other income I have from a rental property, excuse me, I'm only paying taxes on 60 grand. If say I make an extra 40 grand a year, I'm not in that 100%, that $100,000 tax bracket. Obviously, it retros. Like you're not paying the 22% tax on all 100,000. It's like it's staggered. Mm-hmm. But my point is like I'm not even in that bracket of the $100,000. So like who gives a shit? Mm-hmm. But if you're doing it right, you pay minimal tax. Like eventually, you'll probably pay tax, but if you do it right, you'll pay next to nothing. That's why Trump doesn't pay tax. He's not an evil guy. He just knows how to take advantage of the tax code.
Yeah,
if you don't take advantage of a tax code, you're a moron, and like
you're putting yourself.
Like if you know that you're putting yourself at a disadvantage, you're not taking advantage of the tax code. You're an idiot.
Yeah,
you are a moron.
But the thing about it is, no one knows.
Well, that's the thing too. But a lot of people are like, "Well, I feel I'm happy paying my share of tax." No, you're not. Mm-hmm. I know you're not. That's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And
like,
like,
do shit.
My favorite argument is that my favorite argument is when people are like, "Well, 1% don't pay their fair share of tax." They pay more tax than I will probably ever pay in my life in 1 year. Elon Musk has paid more tax than a majority of people will ever pay in their life.
Yeah,
and that their kids will pay in their life, so they pay more and more. Mm-hmm. They do pay more than their fair share in tax.
And you do got to think about what Elon Musk provides.
Yeah, like there's a reason why he doesn't pay that much tax. Like he pays less tax than he pays his correct amount of tax. But like there's a reason why he has different write-offs, because like he's contributing to the welfare society.
Yeah.
Like if I go and build an apartment complex, I'm contributing to the welfare society and providing housing. Mm-hmm. Place for people to live. And now I'm making the byproduct is I get to make money off of it, and I get to declare as hopefully as a loss on my taxes if it's done legally and correctly. Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
It's like my favorite topic, those taxes.
Yeah. It goes deep too, and it's like
taxes. It's cool. I mean, people think it's boring, but it's pretty cool. I mean,
it's actually something that helps you too.
Yeah, and you know it too. So that's it.
All right, where can people find you?
You can find me at NicholasBruno408 on Instagram and NicholasBruno4 on Snapchat. That is my social media handles. I don't have anything else. I don't have TikTok. I don't have Facebook. I mean, technically I do have Facebook because I have Instagram, but those are only two things I really have.
How that works.
Yeah, I just TikTok. I don't know. I'm just not like I like TikTok. It's cool, but I would just scroll too much. I would sit there and have my phone just looking at it for like hours.
Exactly why I deleted it.
Yeah, but
all right. All my info is in the link tree on my Instagram. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.